All right, what's going on, everyone? It is Wednesday. We've had a just absolute kind of just banger of a trading week so far. So I thought we'd just probably start off here with the SPX. Yeah, so it's been pretty volatile. So we had elevator up on Monday, and then into Tuesday was just absolutely wiped out and ended up creating equal low. We have a bit of a, I don't know, you call this a hangman, or no, I think it's butterfly. I don't know candle pattern you're talking about there, or what it's called. And then we have today's futures opening kind of just still below yesterday's close. So futures doesn't mean anything. After hours means nothing. Remember, that's just bots and algos. But we did have Google earnings. Yeah. So I guess real quick is just from the SPX perspective here. I mean, I'll turn off the EMAs for now. But we're barely holding above the TerraFlow VWAP, our 2025 high VWAP. We've been just kind of consolidating in. And we're still below the all-time high VWAP, right? So VWAP all week has been pretty goddamn accurate in terms of what the fuck is going on. But it's weird. So when we retested this area up here, the SPY, which was really odd, was actually like trying to decline the whole time, kind of just like during that consolidation phase. So it was weird. Is the SPX was actually trying to push higher, and the SPY was like trying to move lower in a way. I don't know. So to me, that sounds like there's a bit of imbalance between both the ETF and the index, and it's probably just leaning more to the sell side. And just to add to that, like if we look at something like one-day VIX, I mean, VIX has not showed any signs of cool off. It's tried to reject under the red line multiple times, but as we discussed in the other videos, there's a naked position here for dealer short at 25, right? So we look at options inventory and we think about like dealer mechanics. You cross 25 and they're gonna have to buy back the inventory. It's gonna send the VIX higher, which is probably gonna bring the SPX lower. So the VIX is gonna do this and grind up. SPX is gonna come down, and you're probably gonna get a big volatility event, right? Just thinking of like naked positioning as well. I mean, there's no one holding these highs, right? And I've been talking about this for quite a few months, where like no one wants to be a holder and buyer at the highs, and people just want to buy the pullback, right? Well, eventually it doesn't work, right? You can only retest a certain range or a certain level so many times before, eventually they go, okay, it's probably time to cool off, and the market doesn't want to push higher, right? And just from an EMA perspective, it's holding under the 20, and it's testing the 50 quite a bit in the last 2 days, and you don't really want to lose that, right? So just thinking here, right? Like the equal lows here on Monday and Tuesday. I look at this and I basically see this is like a, I don't know what you'd call this, like an equal bar almost. But the fact of the matter is no one is buying above this, and it's creating equal lows here and accepting into lower value, right? And even on a TPO perspective here, this node here, this profile here from last week, right? The entire time the top end of this unfilled poor high has just been holding perfectly, right? Like, look, even if we just look at the order blocks, it's just tested it and gone lower. There's a single print here. I don't know if that gets filled. It might. But I'm looking at this and thinking, okay, well, the bullish tail here just created a sell-off. And that's why I hate tails. I don't know why people call them such bullish patterns. They're not. Like, they're very directionally undecided. And more than not, I swear to God, it gets volatile and nukes after. Right? If we look at today's profile, opened up at yesterday's previous value area high, retested it, and just accepted below, and it's been batting around. And even at the end of the day here, this was interesting. I tweeted this out, but the put control basically just retested this level and then sold off at the end of the day. And anyone who bought a put contract here went at least 300% into the end of the day. So, like at the end of the day, it was just again like heavy shorting with charm down, mixed with no buyers, and that's just not healthy. And like I guess I've been calling for a while. Yeah, like I don't know. I think it's really close to cooling off, and I do think like the second and third week of February will be worse, right? Like we've had big large companies reporting kind of this week and last week, right? But something like today with Google, which is interesting. Let's just go look over at Google 15-minute chart. Like the after hours was not fucking fun to trade, and it still isn't, right? Like this thing went from 43 down to nearly 300, right? And I mean, you kind of have to ignore after hours in a sense in terms of just like letting the bots and algos figure it out itself, because it is mostly just automated trading. It's not regular trading hours, so it doesn't really mean much. But I mean, the earnings themselves, again, it wasn't a crazy beat. It wasn't bad. I'll be honest, it wasn't terrible. But what was really interesting is the forecast on Google's forecasted capex expansion or expenditure. Is that the right word? Was very, very overestimated. Or sorry, the estimate was lower than what the actual amount was going to be. So I think when I think about the AI trade and just how tech is going as a whole, I'm like, I don't know. This brings back the argument and article I wrote a while ago, and how much I've been saying is like these companies, the amount they're spending and the amount of debt they're lending and whatnot in debt issuing, like it's not beneficial long term. Like the amount they're spending on AI and energy and new infrastructure and whatnot, it's not profitable, right? So companies are barely meeting expectations. They're not blowing it out of the water. They're either beating by a little bit or not beating. But the forward guidance is what makes me go, okay, this might not be amazing, right? Like they're issuing out so much cash, I'm going to spend a lot of cash, but they're not really being overly profitable. And I mean, you see it in something like Oracle as well, right? Like Oracle just looks like fucking dog ass, and it just has looked like dog ass. Same thing with CoreWeave. It's like, I don't know. Palantir, I said this too. It was gonna pop on earnings and sell off, and I mean, look at that. Like it literally, like it looks like a meme coin, right? So I don't know. I mean, we know the trade is slowing down. We know this like innumerable parts of the market, whether you look at the internals, or you just look at like the moving average, or you look at how much it's failed to hold above 7,000. But going through the financial reports of these companies, it's just it doesn't look fucking great, you know. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think it's time for a cool off. I've been saying like the VIX, for example, this is bullish VIX structure. When you get these early pops, like usually the next runner up, that's the big one, right? And I know like from a profile perspective, if we lose 6,700, I mean your next target's like 6,400. If you lose that, you're down to like 58s, and it's just, I mean, like U.S. debt doesn't help. Like Treasury yields being somewhat elevated is kind of concerning. No one wants to hold U.S. debt, right? And then if we go back, we talked about this in the other video, but if you go down and look at credit spreads, it's just like they're ticking up, and the market's barely moved. And usually when this happens, like we overlay something by the VIX, right? They usually follow pretty fucking close, right? Um, so something's up. Something's up, and we know that, right? And even if you look at something like Global M2, it's, I mean, kind of ticked up, I guess, but not really. I mean, it's pretty much in the downward direction, right? And I think this only little upswing we got here was kind of just due to the FX intervention with the USD GPY, or I guess the yen, right? And then the DXY. So I don't know. It's weird. Dollar's trying to bust out here. It's not really doing much, but it's definitely a little bit. But the JPY again is just showing the weakness of it's just weakening, right? No one wants the easy borrowing of cheap Japanese money is imploding a little bit, right? We've talked about that quite a bit over time. But I don't know. I don't really have a firm trade set up other than I've been saying to just probably it's start time to get, or sorry, it's a good time to start hedging puts at these highs and start targeting, lower things, right? And going into the end of Q1. So intraday, I don't really have a trade setup to share. You kind of just got to look at, the morning's gamma profiles and dealer positioning and just look at it and go, okay, well, what's today's scalp going to be? But I think the longer term, by all means, is definitely going to start winding down into March, right? Okay, I think that's all really to share about stocks right now. There's not too much I want to talk about with stocks. It is Wednesday, and we're just doing the Wednesday update video, so it doesn't matter. Let's go 30 minutes here. And let's switch over to corn. So what do we have here, right? We got multi-day composite here. We can combine this profile together here. This is yesterday's profile. So what happened, right? this huge multi-day composite from Sunday into Tuesday didn't hold, obviously. It held the value area high, held the value area high, held the point of control, and broke down. This here, this is like textbook bearish patterns where the point of control's up here and you can't hold it. Oh, that's like a textbook like freest scalp you can get. Yeah, I don't know. But there's just nothing really to do here on Bitcoin. You kind of just got to let it consolidate and bleed. The 70,000s are not a bounce level. Like it's not a level by any means. I mean, you've lost your 2-week value area high and whatnot. Your point of control is still way up here at 89. The 8-week is way up here that we lost as well, that I've removed off the chart. Yearly open's still up here. Like, there's nothing to do. We've accepted below all the April value as well when we built out the huge low in April when the tariff drop happened. There's nothing here, like, strengthy to do on Bitcoin or any of the fucking coins. Like, even ETH and whatnot. It's just, like, all of it's down. Like, there's no safe trading crypto right now. And, like, even something like Hyperliquid, like, I guess every dog has its days, but when I look at something like Hyperliquid, it was the only one that didn't really get a run up while Bitcoin was in the 90s still, right? So I think it's finally having its laggard trade. Everyone's FOMOing into it and whatnot, but I think everyone forgets too is when this type of move happens in the Bitcoin cycle, all the alts and whatnot, and Bitcoin itself, they just go and make lower highs. So whatever pump you get, it's a great scalp, but it's not a long-term hold, if that makes sense, right? But that's where you get profitable, is by making those small, you know, intraday moves, whatever, right? But that's scalping. That's not long-term positioning. So when I look at something like BTC right now too, like even just from like a normal chart, I mean, it's well under the all-time high VWAP. It's well under the 2024 VWAP. The 2024 high VWAP, you know, it's accepting underneath the low VWAP, right? So I seriously, like, I mean this, I would start targeting closer to 60s pretty soon. I don't know how soon, but pretty soon. I would say it'll probably be within 60s within at least a month, if I was to guess, right? And like even just from an SMA perspective, I mean, let's look at this on the weekly, and let's go, just go 200 and 300, why not? Right, and then we'll do, yeah, I mean, you lose 100-week SMA, 200-week SMA is down here at 58. Eventually, this is probably going to tick up a little bit, but I'd say when the 200-week crosses into 60, it's probably when you're going to enter the 60s. Yeah, I don't know. There's just nothing. There's nothing bullish about it. Nothing's cleared out a low. Nothing has formed a low. Nothing has. Nothing looks healthy in crypto right now, to be completely transparent. And even like Bitfinex long rate and USDT.D, I guess we'll pop open to that real quick. But I mean, the boys, they're still just twapping longs. And what's weird is on this drawback, they're not even twapping that much. It's a little bit, but like usually when you're near a pullback and you're near a bounce, it's like hundreds and hundreds of BTC coming in by the day into Bitfinex long rate. Not happening. Like it's not happening, right? Like even if we just look at the daily here, like this is nothing. Like for Bitfinex whales, that's not even close to sizing, right? Like usually when they start really sizing, like you can see it, like here's big sizing, here's big sizing. This isn't slowing down, which is interesting, but it's also not getting increasingly. So I think personally they're waiting to let this drop a bit more. And yeah, I don't know. Like I guess you just kind of gotta wait. But if we look at this too, like from a weekly perspective, actually let's use this chart. It's a little more clean. I mean, Bitcoin's probably not going to pump until the Fed has to start raising rates at some point, right? Like Bitcoin usually only pumps when they start raising rates, right? I guess we could look at 2020 as a little bit different of an anomaly, but I think there was other macro factors for that. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Bitcoin improves or goes and sets a new all-time high until interest rates rise and Tether can gain a lot of interest and yield off things. Yeah, I think that's all I really want to talk about there. I'm going to talk about something a little bit random here. Someone made a meme coin. I don't know how to feel about this. I don't do meme coins, but someone made a meme coin in my name. Yeah. I don't know. I will say this, the only thing I did, like just full transparency, I bought with the fees back in, but I did not use my own money. Like I'm not even the launcher here. So whoever launched it is 67 House Dev, whoever that is. And then I'm just the creator catching fees. So I just want full transparency. I'm not a meme corner. I don't trench like this or whatever you guys call it. I don't do this, okay? Whoever launched this and why was probably trying to use my name for some money to grift whatever. But I am not like associated with this other than I'm just collecting fees. The only thing I did, full transparency, was I locked most of the tokens, or at least pretty much all of them. Where was it? And this is here. So this confirmation here, if you guys want to look at it, I just sent this into Streamflow and locked them. Because I at one point, this whole value, I don't know, where do you see the value for it? I don't know how much it was, but at one point it was worth about $70,000, which is the like most money I've ever seen in crypto. And yeah, I don't want to be associated with the rugging of this or anything like that. Like all meme coins and altcoins, they all bleed back like to Bitcoin and the main assets. Just full transparency. So just saying, don't buy this. Like it's risky. It's not like this is not safe. I don't even know how this really got to be honest. But just full transparency, I didn't sell a token. I locked them all and I staked some liquidity on Meteora. Yeah, I don't know, but don't FOMO this please and lose money. I don't know if it's ever gonna go up again or whatnot. I just happened to be caught in the midst of it. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's really all I have to say. There's not much really going on that I can share with charts other than I think the most fun trade right now, just to be fully honest, I think you just start hedging the VIX or VIX ETFs and hedging downside protection. And I mean, if you haven't done it already, I was screaming to start doing it from the highs. I mean, I think there's still a little bit of time. I think there's still a little bit of time. You know, something like maybe an SVIX short, like maybe buy the 20 put or something like that, whatever you're comfortable with. I think that's a good trade because SVIX also had a sell signal. So yeah. Okay, I think we're good with that, and then we'll do some more deep dive analysis tomorrow on Twitter when we open up the profiles and start making some money. Okay. But yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Love you guys, and we'll talk Sunday. We'll do a bigger, larger, longer recap Sunday.